All right, what's up there, YouTube? Okay, so today I was going to talk to you guys about ND filters and why you really need to use them, especially out here in low light. I mean, out here in the daylight and bright sunlight for video. For photo, it's not as important, but for video, well, it is important if you're trying to do like a slow, super long exposures, like for a waterfall or something like that. Then I can see you like wanting to use the ND filters so that you can leave the aperture open for longer, leave the shutter open for longer. You can shut down the aperture, shut it way down, and then leave the exposure long. Anyway, there's a reason why you would want to do it. But for video, it's almost essential if you're outside. So right now, in order to shoot this video, I'm on the 85 millimeter 1.8, but I've got it set to f13 in order to block out all this sun and have the shutter speed around double of my frame rate. If the frame rate's 24p, the shutter speed is double that, would be 48 or 50, close to it, whatever it comes to that's close to it. I stepped in a hole right there. Anyway, so in order to make this video like that, if you can notice, the background is all in focus. I mean, the footage looks good, but the background's in focus because the aperture is closed down. In order to open that aperture and not raise the shutter speed up to 6400,000 or 6400, whatever, you know, without boosting the shutter speed real high and making everything look kind of jerky, it gets rid of the whole film look of 24p. So in order to do that, you need to use an ND filter. And I've got one right here if I can open this stupid box. An ND filter. Now there's a bunch of NDs. You got, like I've got ND4 all the way up to ND400. So this one I have here is a fader ND. Basically it's two polarized filters put together, and then when you turn them, they get darker and lighter. Its little pattern inside closes up and gets darker and lighter. It's just it's an illusion of it's a way of blocking the light by using, it's complicated. Anyway, so you can see I'll put the camera there. As I turn it, it gets darker and darker until it goes completely black and you can't see anything through it, almost completely black. This one here goes from, I think, around ND2 through 400 or something like that. It gets pretty dark. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the camera now on f1.8 and put this on it and adjust it until I get this dark enough to where my shutter speed is double my frame rate, 50. I'm using aperture priority mode, by the way. It just works easy for this. So you can just turn the dial until you get your shutter speed the right speed at the lowest ISO you can, because you're outside obviously, so you're using low ISO. So let me see what it comes out to. I'm gonna adjust it now. I'm gonna put it on there and adjust it. And I'm gonna do it with you while I'm recording. I have to screw in the ND filter. Goes on the front. It's me screwing it on. And now, since the camera's in manual, I'm gonna slowly drop this, or it's in aperture, I'm gonna drop this down until well, first I'm gonna drop my aperture down to 1.8. 1.8. So now it's at 1/25th, but my ISO is jumping up to 500. So I wanna drop that back down. I wanna bring that back and turn it until my ISO is down to like 160. Okay, so right now it's 140. Okay, so right now my ISO is at 140. My shutter speed's at 1/50th of a second at f1.8. That's good right there. So that's good. So now, if I walk back out in front and I talk to you, now with an ND filter on, if you notice as I walk closer to the camera, now I'm in focus and that's all blurry in the background because I dropped that down to f1.8. I was able to do that and keep the shutter speed at around 1/50th of a second in video by putting an ND filter on there, especially a variable ND that I can turn and make darker or lighter. You really need a variable ND. You can put on another ND filter and get it close, but with a variable ND, you can dial it right in and get that perfect exposure with the lowest aperture or highest aperture, 1.8, and I call it lowest. It's actually with it opened the most, f1.8, letting the most light in so that you get that blurry background look. And that's how you get your footage to have the back real blurry and the footage in focus in bright sunlight without it being all jerky and almost ultra realistic looking. The dog barking next door. The shutter speed to me looks like when it gets above double the frame rate, it looks like a cheap soap opera. You know, it looks like those high hertz TVs that don't look right. It's fine for gaming, it's fine for other stuff, but for movies you want that, for video and movies to have that filmic look, you want the 24p and the 180-degree shutter, really is what you really want. But with the DSLRs, we get as close as we can, which is double the frame rate. Show you guys real quick. I was going to show you guys the photos that I took with this lens are unbelievable. I mean, they're tack sharp. What I liked about it was I could touch the back of the camera and it would focus on what I was touching on. It was really cool. It would focus and take the picture. So especially when you're like shooting at f1.8 and there's a crowd of people, it's hard to pick the exact person. You can do the face tracking and that's great and eye autofocus, but it's got everybody like in the shot. It's trying to get everybody and it might accidentally focus on somebody a little bit closer when you wanted this other person. So what I found out was when I was shooting a reception and everybody was out there dancing, I was trying to, and I had flashes and everything, I was trying to get some shots of the groom and the bride out on the dance floor having a good time dancing with their friends. So what I did was I ended up just touching their face with the back of the camera and it would take the picture. So I'm sitting there holding the camera going boom, 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 and it's taking the shot and the flashes are going off and it's working perfect. It actually was awesome. It was so much fun. It was fun touching the picture and taking it and having them see, you know, and then having it perfectly clear in focus right on the person's face, right on their eye and everything. They looked fantastic. I mean, they were a distance away. They were like 25 feet away or so. So it wasn't like it was a tight headshot that you'd get with the thing with eye autofocus and stuff, but it was a pretty cool shot nonetheless. But anyway, there was one thing I wanted to tell you guys was the Nikon rumors just released a statement saying that they're coming out with another firmware update for the cameras. So, and it's supposed to be help with autofocus. So maybe this will help even more. I don't know. Anyway, that's all I was going to show you guys today. So thanks for watching. I hope this works out. This is the Nikon 85mm 1.8 on the Z6, shooting at 4K at 24p. So I thought I'd just share this footage with you. Give this video a like if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'm in my backyard. I was hoping the air conditioner wouldn't go off, but I've got a dog over here barking like crazy at nothing. So anyway, there you go. And that's my blood orange tree back there. They're blood oranges. They're red on the inside. They're really cool. Anyway, that's what you get for living in Florida. You have orange trees in your backyard. All right, see ya.